Have you ever met someone, shaken their hand, heard their name clearly, and forgotten it literally 5 seconds later? Then later you stand there like, bro, what was their name again? And the worst part? You remember their face, their clothes, even what they said, but not their name. Most people think this means you're careless, rude, or bad with memory. But psychology says something much deeper is happening. And once you understand it, you'll never see forgetting names the same way again. For some people, forgetting names happens occasionally. For others, it happens constantly. You meet someone new, their name enters your brain for 1 second and disappears forever. Meanwhile, another person can remember names from years ago effortlessly. Why? Is it intelligence? Attention span? Social anxiety? Stress? Or is your brain secretly prioritizing something else? Today, we're breaking down the psychology behind why people forget names easily, what it secretly reveals about attention and emotions, and why this tiny everyday habit is actually way more relatable than most people realize. Part 1. Your brain doesn't think names are important. Here's the first psychological truth. Your brain is constantly filtering information. Every second, your brain receives thousands of details: faces, sounds, emotions, movements, words, colors, expressions. But your brain cannot store everything equally. So it asks one question: what actually matters right now? And names are surprisingly weak information. Think about it. If someone says, "Hi, I'm Alex," your brain hears the word. But the name Alex doesn't describe anything meaningful yet. It has no emotional weight, no visual meaning, no story attached to it. It's just a random label. Meanwhile, your brain is focusing on things like, do they like me? How should I respond? What do I say next? Am I acting awkward? What's their vibe? That's why people often forget names during first meetings. Their attention is busy surviving the social interaction itself, not storing labels. Part 2. Social anxiety makes it worse. This is where things become deeply relatable. People with social anxiety forget names more often. Why? Because anxiety consumes working memory. Psychologists describe working memory like your brain's temporary desk space. And anxiety fills that desk with panic. While talking to someone, anxious people are internally thinking, am I speaking normally? Do I sound stupid? Where do I look? Should I smile? Am I being judged? Their brain becomes overloaded. And when the brain overloads, small details disappear first, including names. This is why some people can repeat, "Nice to meet you," and immediately realize they already forgot the person's name. Not because they didn't care, but because their brain was too busy managing stress. Part 3. Faces matter more than names. Here's something fascinating. Humans evolved to remember faces more than names. Thousands of years ago, names weren't as important as recognizing people visually. Your brain is naturally designed to detect expressions, threats, emotions, familiar faces. That's why you can instantly recognize someone you met years ago, but still forget their name completely. Your brain stores emotional impressions stronger than verbal labels. This explains why people say things like, "I forgot his name, but I remember he was really funny." Or, "I don't remember her name, but she felt kind." Emotion survives longer than labels. Always. Part 4. The too fast problem. Another psychological reason people forget names? Introductions happen too quickly. Think about how most introductions work. "Hey, this is Sarah. Nice to meet you." Conversation continues immediately. Your brain barely gets 1 second to process the information. But memory needs repetition. Without repetition, information fades rapidly. This is called the forgetting curve in psychology. Your brain naturally deletes information it thinks won't be needed. And unfortunately, random names often become the first victims, especially in group settings. You meet 5 people in 2 minutes, and your brain basically gives up. Part 5. Some people secretly don't listen during introductions. This one is painfully real. Sometimes people are physically present, but mentally preparing what to say next. So during introductions, they're not fully listening. They're performing, trying to appear confident, trying to avoid awkwardness, trying to impress people, which means the name never fully enters memory in the first place. Psychologists call this divided attention. And divided attention destroys memory formation. This is why genuine listening instantly improves name recall. Because memory strengthens when attention becomes intentional. Part 6. Why forgetting names feels so embarrassing. Now here's the emotional side. Forgetting someone's name feels way more embarrassing than forgetting other details. Why? Because names are deeply connected to identity. A person's name feels personal. So when you forget it, your brain interprets it like you failed socially. That's why people panic after forgetting names, even if the other person barely notices. And ironically, the harder you try to remember the name under pressure, the harder your brain blocks it. This is called retrieval stress. Stress interrupts recall, which is why names magically return hours later when the pressure disappears. Your brain relaxes and suddenly remembers everything. Part 7. People who forget names are often deep thinkers. Now, this part surprises many people. Some research suggests people who forget names easily are sometimes more focused on concepts, emotions, or big picture thinking. Instead of storing labels, their brain prioritizes ideas, stories, energy, patterns, or emotional impressions. That's why some people remember your dream, your personality, your life story, but not your actual name. Their brain remembers meaning more than labels. And honestly, most viewers watching this probably relate to that deeply. Part 8. The simple psychological trick to remember names. There's one method psychologists recommend constantly: association. Your brain remembers meaning better than randomness. So instead of hearing John, you mentally connect it to something. Maybe John with glasses, John who likes football, John with the deep voice. Now the name has context, and context strengthens memory. Another powerful trick? Repeating the name naturally during conversation. Nice meeting you, John. That tiny repetition dramatically improves recall, because repetition tells your brain this matters. So no, forgetting names doesn't automatically mean you're rude, careless, or unintelligent. Sometimes it means your brain was overloaded, anxious, distracted, or focused on emotions instead of labels. And honestly, almost everyone experiences this, because human memory was never designed to store every tiny detail perfectly. It was designed to prioritize survival, emotion, and meaning, which is why you may forget someone's name, but still remember exactly how they made you feel. And maybe that says more about human psychology than names ever could. What's the fastest you've ever forgotten someone's name? Be honest. And if this video felt painfully relatable, subscribe for more psychology videos that explain the weird things humans do every day.